Hi, ladies. How are you? Okay. Jai Baba, everyone. We are here for our Tween Zoom today, which is on forgiveness with our guest speakers, Saraswati and Laurent. And we are actually going to get started just with the prayers like we always do. And actually, Laya, would you like to say the Parvardigar prayer today?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, give me a second. 1 second, please. Okay, go ahead. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
O
go.
Okay, O Parvardigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible and none can see you, but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the creator, the Lord of lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parameshwar. You're the beyond God and beyond God also. You are Par Brahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yazdan, Ahur Mazda, and God the Beloved. Your name Isa, the only one worthy of worship.
Thank you, Laya. Who would like to say the repentance prayer? Srinika, do you want to?
Do you want to? Yeah. He doesn't want to.
Okay, what about you, Srinidhi? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can. We repent, O God, most merciful for all our sins. For every thought that was false, unjust, or unclean, for every word spoken ought not to have been spoken, and for every deed done ought not to have been done. We repent for every word and deed and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent most especially for every lustful thought and for every lustful action, for all lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also, we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will.
Thank you. We have somebody new here today. Orion, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, great. Welcome. Would you like to say the beloved God prayer?
He doesn't know that prayer. He's just new to Mir Baba.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you're not okay, I mean, somebody else can do it if you would. I have it posted here, but if somebody else wants to do it, that's fine too.
I'll do it.
Okay. It's right here.
Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's
Daman
till the very end.
Jai Baba.
Thank you. All right. Excellent. All right. So I think most of the, queens are already here. So thank you everyone for saying the prayers with us. As you know, we always start with Baba's prayers. I would like each one of you to introduce yourself and then we will introduce our guests to you guys. So Orion, since you just finished saying the prayer, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? How old are you? Where do you live? Yeah.
I'm 9. I live in Tryon. I like Pokemon. My 3 favorite animals are shark, scorpion, and piranha. And my favorite color is red.
Thank you. All right. Manya, go ahead.
My name is Manya. I'm 8 and I live in Colorado.
Thank you. Go ahead, Shrinika and Srinidhi.
Hi, my name is Trinity. I live in Colorado.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Awesome. Shrinika, what about you?
My name is Shrinika and I also live in Colorado. I'm 9.
Awesome. Okay, Laya, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Leia. I'm from DC.
And Laya, you are 17?
Yeah, I'm 17.
She's my niece, so I kind of know her age. And that's Nirthi, her mom. All right. We have oh, that's interesting. Oh, Meher's here. Meher, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Meher. I'm 13 years old and I live in Connecticut.
Hey. I thought I saw somebody else with Vanessa over there. Is he joining?
Yes, he just stepped out for a minute. Bad
Oh,
time.
that's okay. That's okay. I think we have still a few more.
Okay, we'll come back.
Sure, no problem. Okay, did I get all the kiddos? Okay. Laurent, why don't we start with the two of you, you and Saraswati, and then whoever else joined, we'll catch them. I know my kids are trying to join. I think they were having some issues.
Okay, hi everybody. My name's Laurent. I am 55 years old. I'm from New York City, but I moved to North Carolina, so I live with my wife Vanessa in Asheville, North Carolina.
Thank you. Hey, Saraswati, do you want to go next? Or Sars? Oh.
She said she's having trouble with her microphone.
Oh no. Okay, Soham, why don't we go with you first then?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Can you introduce yourself to
Oh,
Laurent?
yeah. So my name is Soham. I'm 16. I'm from New Jersey. I'm Shilpa's son.
Okay, I think we got everyone. I see somebody here, but I don't know who that is. It's just a dot. All right, I think we can get started, Laurent. If you want to start the program, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So did you all receive from me a copy of my book called Forgiveness with Meher Baba? Did you all see that book? Awesome. So if I share my screen, can you see this forgiveness life cycle? Can you all see that? Yeah?
Yep.
Did you see that when I did that? Yeah, everybody's able to see that? Okay. I took it down because I want to start with a couple questions and then we're going to have a discussion about forgiveness. Okay. So, can anybody remember a time when you did something that was bad or somebody did something was bad and they got punished? Does anybody remember a time like that in your life? I do. So, like one time I was at school and I had to go to the bathroom. And so I went all the way down the hall to the bathroom, but the boys' bathroom was like broken and closed, and they had a sign on the door saying you can't use this bathroom because you have to go upstairs to another bathroom. This bathroom is broken. And I didn't know what to do. All the kids were in the class. And so I was just like, oh God, but I have to, pee. So I didn't know what to do. And the girls' bathroom was right next to the boys' bathroom. So I poked my head and I said, is anybody in here? There was no answer. So I ran in and I peed really quick and I ran back out, and a teacher saw me coming out of the girls' bathroom, even though I was a boy. I got in big, big trouble. Teacher took me to the office, wrote a letter to my parents, and boy, it was horrible. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to try to risk it and go all the way upstairs to another bathroom and all that. So I just did that. So in that situation, I got punished. And, that's how life is sometimes. Who has another story? Anybody have a story of how they either did something or somebody did something and they got punished? Anybody?
Leia
has
No.
plenty of things.
That's your one.
I talk about things that I'm not supposed to, and then other people find out, and then they get mad at me for saying something when I wasn't supposed to.
I think that's called gossip, and it's fun to do, but then you realize you're actually backstabbing people and you actually don't know when to stop, even adults, right?
You too.
Okay, fine. That's what we do.
So backbiting, backstabbing, and then who got in trouble?
Me.
Yeah, I think when it comes around, right? The gossip comes around and then they found out said it. So, then you'll learn a lesson though. Like, you probably won't do it again the exact same way. And, I think you have to do some wrong to learn some right.
Okay. Were you punished? What was the punishment?
People get mad at me.
Friends stop talking to her for a few days.
Right. They punish you by how they treat you differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's a case of when you do something or somebody does something and you don't punish them? What is that like? Has that ever happened? Is there ever a case where you don't punish
Alexa,
somebody?
turn on the lamp.
What's that?
I think that was Tina accidentally. Go ahead. Sorry.
So are there ever cases in life where somebody does something bad and you decide not to punish them? What is that like? Has that ever happened? Or you do something bad and you don't get punished? Has anybody ever had that experience?
No, but I feel like people do bad things and then or to me or something, and I just don't say anything because I don't want to make it an issue.
Right. So that's called avoidance, right? You're avoiding the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to talk about today is called forgiveness. So what does that mean? That means, like in the case of Baba, when Baba talks about it, and you might have seen it in the book. Does everybody have a copy of the book handy? Did I send you a copy of the book? And you might have seen in there some quotes of Baba. So did you see that sometimes Baba would forgive people? And Baba's sister Mani said, when Baba would forgive somebody, he would make a gesture like this. He would reach down towards his heart and he'd say, I forgive you. Or he'd reach down to his heart like this and he'd say, I give you my love. And Mani said, Baba used the same gesture, because he was silent, for I give you my love. And he would say, I forgive you. So how is it that somebody could give you their love and forgive you even if you did something wrong? Are you capable of doing that if somebody does something wrong? Are you capable of forgiving somebody? Have you ever been in that situation where somebody said, I'm so sorry, please forgive me? And what are they saying? What are they really asking for? Anybody have an idea when they say that? What do they want if they ask for forgiveness? You're muted, Leah.
Oh, for you like not to be mad anymore?
Yeah, and what else? Who else has an idea? Not to be mad anymore, and what else?
They want
Somebody
you to
else?
kind of forget about it and move on.
Forget about it and move on. Good. And anything else based on what we just talked about? What else could be coming up? What do they want to avoid? What do they want not to happen?
Conflict, like more conflict from that situation.
Avoid more conflict. Yep. How about Orion? What do they want to avoid? Orion, you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Some thought coming in your mind?
No, not yet. I'm just still thinking.
Okay. Saraswati wants to say something. Hold on. Let me turn up the. She's going to speak through my phone here. So let's see. Saraswati wants to say something. Go ahead, Saraswati. She said that she wants people to be able to see eye to eye, that people want to see eye to eye. That means they're both seeing it the same way, right? And Saraswati, do you have your video on? I can't see. Let's see here. Can you put on your video? So one of the things that I want to do is to show you a life cycle diagram about forgiveness that I created. And I want you to look at it. I'm going to share my screen and I want to ask you 2 questions. Okay. So let's see how this goes here. Can you see the diagram here? I'm going to make it big. Can you see? Can you see that? Everybody see that? Yes?
Yep.
Shilpa?
See it?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So let's talk about the life cycle diagram here. And this is just my idea of a life cycle diagram. You might have one that's different than mine in your mind, but it's also in the book. So if you look in the book, it's the chapter is chapter 11, a sample life cycle diagram. Who wants to read number 1? Somebody want to read what number 1 says?
I will
Okay.
identify what happened.
Right, because sometimes I've heard people say that they have a hard time even figuring out what happened in the situation with somebody. They're like, wow, what even happened? So the first thing in the forgiveness life cycle that I put is figure out what happened. Okay, who wants to read number 2?
I will
Okay, go ahead.
identify feelings about what happened.
Right, so once you figure out what happened, how do you feel about that? Now, I think it's very, very difficult to forgive something if you don't even know how you're feeling. So that's why we put the identify feelings about what happened. Who wants to read number 3? Anybody?
I can feel those feelings.
Yeah. So if you are in denial about how you feel, it can be really difficult to communicate with somebody else how you're feeling. If you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's not important, forget it. But then you really are upset, but you're not feeling it and you're kind of trying to avoid your own feelings, that's not healthy either. So if you can feel the feelings, then you can keep moving through the life cycle. So I put those as the first three. Who wants to do number 4?
I can do it. So, number 4 is share what happened with someone safe.
Right. So do you have somebody in your life who's safe? It could mean like your brother, your sister, or if you don't feel safe with your brother and your sister, maybe a close friend, or maybe somebody at school, like a teacher or a counselor or a coach, or maybe you have an aunt or an uncle, or in my case, my grandmother. I loved my grandmother. Her name was Elizabeth. I always felt safe with my grandmother. I could say anything to her. But the idea is if you had something happen and you have feelings about what happened and you're feeling that feelings, you might want to share about that with somebody safe, and they're going to give you that sense of, acknowledgement, and like, it's okay that this happened to you. Like, it's okay, meaning let's deal with it. Not that it's okay, like it's okay that it happened, but let's work on it. Let's take it through to the next step. That's what sharing with somebody safe means. And then what's number 5? Who wants to read it?
Share what happened with other people involved.
Yeah, so that's meaning like the other person who, let's say they did something to you and you're really upset and they're like, please forgive me. Can you have a conversation with the other person who's involved? Meaning either you're about to forgive them, but you want to talk to them about it first and say, look, here's what happened from my point of view. Here's how I'm feeling about it. And can you have that conversation with the other person? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, right? And it depends on the situation. So that's an important one. What about number 6? Who wants to do number 6?
Go ahead, Tom.
I can do it.
Okay.
Acknowledgement of what happened.
Yeah, so acknowledgement means that you see number 1, identify what happened. I've done a lot of these seminars. One of the women in the seminar said to me, I want to forgive my sister for what happened, but every time I try to talk to my sister about it, she won't even acknowledge that it happened. Like, she won't even admit that the thing happened. She said, so I can't forgive her because she won't even acknowledge that it happened. Does that make sense? It's like the other person gives you acknowledgement that they understand, and that,
Maybe fix that part up there. And then maybe if you look for the Zoom part at the top.
Is that Saras? I thought I heard Saras.
Laurent,
Wait, can you hear me?
question.
Yeah.
I don't think you can hear me.
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, you can?
Is that Saras?
Oh, yay.
Saras, we can hear you.
Yay. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
But there's a question from somebody. Is it Tina?
Yes.
What's the
I
question?
had a fight with my son over 2 years ago, and he has thrown me out of the family. He won't forgive me. What do you advise me to
What's
do?
the question?
What do you advise me to do under these circumstances?
So Tina, I would like to talk about that, but we're right in the middle of going through the forgiveness life cycle. Can we do the forgiveness life cycle first and come back to your question after? Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Saras,
yes.
Now that we can hear you, can you say hi to everybody? And then I'd like you to talk a little bit about the other parts of the life cycle, because I wanted Saras to be my co-host and help me with the life cycle. Can you say a few words about yourself, Saras, and then I'll start sharing the life cycle?
Sure. My name is Saraswati, but I go by Saras. I am 14 and I live in Asheville.
Awesome. Not Lord Mayor. All right. Can you guys see the life cycle again? Saras, can you see it?
Yes.
Can you talk to us, Ross, about 7 through 10? Tell us from your point of view what this 7 through 10 is about, and then we're going to do an exercise all together.
Yes. All right. So number 7, acknowledgement of feelings. I think for me that means like being open and aware of how you feel instead of shoving it down and pushing it away. And if you don't exactly know how to open up to being aware to those feelings, I sometimes like to draw or write them down, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I want to say one more thing about that. It also means that if you're working with somebody else who you're upset with, that they can acknowledge your feelings.
Yeah.
So, Saras, let's say you have a problem with your brother and your brother's really being mean to you and you're feeling upset. And you tell your brother, look, I'm really upset because, and you tell your brother, and then can he acknowledge your feelings? So it goes both ways. It's not just you acknowledging your own feelings, but you're saying to your brother, can you understand how I'm feeling right now? And he says, actually, I do understand. And you get that sense that your feelings are understood and acknowledged, right? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. What's number 8?
Number 8, giving or asking forgiveness in person or via someone medium. Let's see. So giving or asking for forgiveness. For me, I think that one's pretty tricky actually.
Why?
Sometimes I don't have a big problem with forgiving. I like to be open with being able to see somebody else's point of view and understanding what they see. Going to the person and asking them to forgive me for something is a little different because I feel like they won't totally see where I'm coming from. And I've been shut down a few times. So I feel if I go to that point of view, I'll be shut down again.
Sure. That's very honest. Thank you for saying that. And then what about 9 and 10? And keep in mind, these are supposed to be in an order, right? Like they happen in an order. So 8 happens before 9. So what is 9 about?
Letting it go wholeheartedly. So I think there's totally a difference of thinking that you've let it go and actually fully accepting that you can let it go.
Good.
With letting it go, I think you have to be very clear and opening your heart to just saying, okay, I'm done with this one and I need to move on to something different. And I'm okay with dropping
and that
this.
brings us to number 10.
And I'm ready to.
Yeah.
Number 10.
I heard somebody else say earlier, one of the young men on this chat, the video chat, said that letting it go was important. Who was that again? I saw him earlier on here.
It was Soham.
Soham?
Yeah.
Is he still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Soham, do you remember you said letting it go? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Does it make sense in the order that I'm putting in the life cycle about letting it go?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have further thought about
there's
that?
just a few kind of steps you have to take to let it go. But I mean, honestly, for me, it kind of comes easier. I just forget about it and move on.
So are you saying you don't need all of these steps?
No, I'm saying like maybe I don't think about the steps as much as like I should, because sometimes like things will come up again like after like a fight.
Yeah.
But I guess if I don't want it to come up again, that's where I should use the steps to kind of get better at that.
So do you like this diagram?
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate.
Okay, good. And then Saras, you want to do number 10?
Yes. Being in present or moving on with freedom. Let's see. I
Let
think.
me ask you a question. Oh, go ahead.
Say again?
I was going to say, do any of these issues ever pull you out of being in the present into either the future or the past, is where I'm going with this.
Oh, okay, that's a better way of putting it. Sorry. Like you mean like how it makes you feel like right in this moment?
Yeah, like for example, if you're really upset with somebody, is it possible that you're thinking about what happened in the past and you're not really in the present moment? Like, how much does it pull your attention out of the present moment if you're not forgiving?
Sometimes it'll pull me away and I'll catch it, but sometimes I feel like it's okay to dwell on it for a little bit as long as it's not over
Yeah.
the top.
Right. And so numbers 1 through 9 for me are part of dwelling on it, right? And 10 is basically saying, well, I've let it go. I want to be in the present moment. I don't want to think about it anymore. I just want to be free. That's why I put number 10.
Laurent, I have a
Does it make
question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking, does it make sense so far what I'm doing?
Yep. If you go back to the cycle, number 6, right? The acknowledgement.
Yep.
I know we specifically spoke about that of the other, like, so if I have a problem, say with Soham, or something happened and then I was hurt, but if I go back, and if it's not acknowledged because maybe the person didn't think that they were doing something wrong. How do you get past 6 then?
Well, the question becomes, are you able to have a conversation with Soham or whoever and help them to see that what happened really caused a problem and that you're trying to forgive them, but you need them to acknowledge that that's what happened. If that's your need, you might not get past 6. Or you say, I can surrender the acknowledgement and you can keep moving. But some people can't. And what I'm trying to get at here is that from my experience, forgiveness is a gift you give to somebody. It's not required. Because what's going to happen if you don't forgive them? Who remembers what happens if you don't forgive? Anybody remember what happens if you don't forgive? We used a different word. You remember? Punishment. If you're not forgiven, you're probably going to get punished. And if you don't forgive, you're probably going to punish the person somehow. It could be that you don't want them to be friends anymore. You don't want to talk to them ever again. You're going to say mean things about them. But if you forgive them, you might stay friends. That's the idea anyway. Okay, so now, does all that make sense so far, what we're talking about here? Does anybody have any questions about this? Because I have an exercise that we're going to do. Do you all like to exercise?
All right.
Can everybody see this diagram? Okay, you ready for the exercise?
Mm-hmm.
You can either do it alone or with somebody if you're with somebody. The question is this: of these 10 steps in the forgiveness life cycle, for you, which one is the easiest one? And for you, which is the hardest one of these steps? So I want you to take 2 minutes, and then we're going to discuss for each person which one was the easiest for them to do in their life and which one's the hardest for them to do. Okay? So just take 2 minutes and look at the life cycle and focus only on your own experience. Just be honest with your own experience. Which step is hardest for you? Which step is easiest for you? Then we're going to talk about it. Okay? Which one is the easiest one for you of the steps? And which one is the hardest one for you of these steps? That's the homework that we're doing in 2 minutes. And then we're going to talk about it. It's a little exercise. And the point of the exercise is just to be honest, and then we're going to share with each other for us which one. And I'll give you a hint. Saras is going to go first, so she'll show you how this is done. Saraswati, you're going to tell us which one is the easiest of the steps for you, and which one is the hardest of the steps for you. But not yet. When we're ready, we're not ready yet. 1 more minute. Okay. Okay, Saras, you want to go first? Which of these steps is easiest and which of these steps is hardest?
Alrighty.
For you.
I personally feel sharing what happened with somebody safe is the easiest for me.
Great. And why?
Because then I feel like if I have somebody safe, they actually hear me. They actually know what's going on. They understand me. And I'm being heard.
Great. That's great. So sharing what happened with someone safe is easiest part of this for you. And then which one's the hardest?
Feeling those feelings.
Oh, really? Feeling the feelings of based on what happened is hard? And why is that hard?
I feel extremely vulnerable when I feel a lot of feelings.
Right. Right. And that's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Depending on who I'm with, yes.
Yeah, right. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Saras. Okay, who wants to go next? What's the hardest one of these for you, and what's the easiest one of these from you? For you?
I think that the easiest thing is identifying what happened, and then the
I think
hardest.
he's asking why.
I think it's easy to identify what happened because, like, I guess it happened, and it's like right in like the story, like right in front of you, and then I think the hardest thing is probably acknowledging your feelings because a lot of times like you want to feel something but like you can't help what you feel, and sometimes you want to like suppress your feelings in a situation.
So acknowledging your own feelings. What about having somebody else acknowledge your feelings, like the person involved? Is that hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Good. This is honest, right? This is your honest experience. Okay, somebody else. Who wants to go next?
How about Sia? Sia just joined, Laurent, a little while back. Go ahead, Sia. Her video is not working, unfortunately, so you'll only hear audio.
Okay. Which one is the easiest and which one is the hardest for you?
I feel like the easiest one is step 1, but then the hardest is step 9.
Could you repeat that? It wasn't clear, was it?
I feel like
I heard the hardest is step 9.
I feel like the easiest one is step 1 and the hardest one is step 9.
Mm-hmm. And so why is 9 letting it go wholeheartedly difficult for you? What happens?
Because because normally you think about it for a few days, but then sometimes you're not able to like forget about it and like move on.
Right. And that's why I put number 10 is the one where you can move on, because it can be difficult. It can be really difficult to let it go. Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Who's next?
About Meher? Would you like to share?
I think I'm fine. But yeah, I think it's important to forgive though. even if the actions are bad. Important to forgive.
If the apples are bad?
No, if the actions are bad. Sorry.
Actions. You want to forgive them even if their actions are bad? Is that what you're saying?
Like, if they forgive, if they try to ask for forgiveness and they say like they wouldn't commit it again, then I feel like that's the right time to forgive.
Do you feel that you need to go through any of these steps, or do you do it all at once, all the steps all at once?
Yeah, I think I can do all of these at once.
You're a very advanced forgiver. You're a professional at forgiving.
Thanks.
Do you ever need to ask someone to forgive you?
Like, not really. Like, I think like the next day they might forgive later. So
Wait, you're saying that you don't need to ask someone to forgive you because they might forgive later?
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Who wants to go next? Which one is the easiest and which one's the hardest for you?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I think the easiest one is number 3, and the hardest one is number 10.
Oh, wow. So did you notice that the easiest one for you, feeling the feelings, could be the hardest for somebody else? Because I think Saras said feeling those feelings is the hardest for her, and you said it was the easiest. You see? So each person could have a different experience of this. Some people, it's easy for them to feel the feelings. And you said the hardest for you is number 10, being in the present moment and moving on. That's the hardest one?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that hard for you?
Since sometimes I remember something, like sometimes I just can't forget what happened, and it's just
Right.
like stuck in my brain forever.
Right. That doesn't feel good, does it? No, it doesn't feel good. So sometimes, even if I do all this and I'm really not feeling good, then even I can ask Baba to help me. I say, okay, Baba, I did my best to forgive. Now I need you to help me because I still am having trouble. Right? So this is just part of the story. This forgiveness life cycle is just part of the story. It's not the whole thing. It's just part of it. It's just my ideas about what could be helpful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody
Laura,
else who didn't go yet?
could I comment?
You can comment, but I don't want to dive into your story just yet about what happened with you. But yes, you can comment.
Well, number 9 is hard for me.
And why is it hard for you?
To let it go wholeheartedly is hard.
You know, why is it hard for you?
I don't know. I just have trouble letting it go.
Right. And Shilpa, do you speak Hindi or Marathi?
Yes, I can speak Hindi.
And didn't Baba say Jane Do at some point?
Yeah,
What does it mean? What does it mean?
let it go.
It means let it go. So Baba himself, as the avatar, would tell people, if you have trouble, talk about it. And he would encourage them to talk about their feelings and their experience. And he'd have everybody gather around and they'd share about what happened. And then he'd say, okay, Jane Do, now let it go. So he would ask that, not just once. So there's a point at which holding on tightly to something is not good for you or the other person. So, and I still struggle with certain things too. I can't forgive everything. So, but Baba's asking me in my spiritual life, I'm talking about my own experience. to forgive as much as I can, to let go of as much as I can, to be as much in the present as I can, to move on with him. And there's still things I can't forgive, but I try. I keep trying. Thank you for sharing that, Tina.
You're welcome.
All right, who hasn't gone yet?
I haven't.
Go ahead.
I say number 3 is the easiest for me, and I say
Okay.
number 1 is the hardest.
To identify what happened is the hardest for you?
Yeah.
So, Orion, can you see that somebody else said identify what happened is the easiest for them, and for you, it's the hardest? So, in the same way, there's so many different people, and they all have a different experience. So, it's okay that for you it could be hard, but for somebody else it could be easy because you have a different experience. So, why is it hard sometimes for you to identify what happened? What happens when you're trying to identify what happened?
Sometimes I just forget how to identify. I just don't remember. I just forget everything, and my mind goes blank.
Right. So you could actually forget what happened in the first place. Has anybody had the experience where they have feelings, really strong feelings, but they forgot what happened to cause the strong feelings? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I see Shilpa nodding. What happened to you, Shilpa, where you had really strong feelings, but you couldn't even remember how it happened?
I think it's more of the specifics, like you just remember an argument, but you sometimes forget what the context was about.
Oh, what the person said or what they did,
Yeah.
but you remember how you feel.
Yes, you remember the feeling associated with it, but not necessarily the exact context.
Right, right. And that's okay too, because that's what it means to be human, isn't it, Shilpa? We all process differently. We all have different understanding. We all have different strengths, different weaknesses, right? Isn't it? Isn't that what it's like to be a human being?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Is that it, Shilpa?
We have till 5:30.
Oh, we have another half an hour after that?
Yeah. I also
Okay,
want to
good.
mention Srinidhi and Shrinika have not gotten an opportunity for social.
Okay. I think Grandma wanted to ask something too. What was she saying? Did you hear her? Yes?
Yes. For me, that 5 is difficult, number 5, and 9 is easy for me. That is
Let me
my
share it again.
experience.
Hold on. So, 5 is easy? Did you say 5
5
is
is
easy?
difficult. No, 5 is difficult.
Oh, 5 is difficult. And which one was easy?
9.
9. So it's easy for you to let it go.
Yes.
But somebody else said
That my
9 is the
mother keeps
hardest for
telling
them.
is a Baba's lover since childhood, and she keeps always saying, let it go.
Hey,
That
Laurent.
is easier for me. That is easier for me. Yeah.
I do have a thing with number 9 when you guys get a chance.
Okay, but I want to acknowledge
5
that
is
for
difficult because
you,
sometimes
9 is easy.
yes, 5 is difficult sometimes. Just whatever you can say, that sharing that part of the involving the persons with whom directly to get into that. Instead of that,
Yeah.
just
right.
Do forgiving, let it go.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Who did you say, Shilpa, hasn't gone yet? Because I've been trying to.
Yeah, Srinidhi and Shrinika. And then
I
once
haven't gone either.
Oh, Soham, you haven't gone. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. Soham first.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say that number 2 is probably the hardest for me. And
Identifying your
10,
feelings.
yeah, and number 10 is the easiest for me because I'll kind of just tend to forget about the situation and kind of just move on.
So 10 happens kind of naturally for you.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of right
but
away,
two-
and then sometimes it'll like pop up again, maybe.
Sure. But 2, you have to make an effort to identify your feelings.
Well, I don't think I identify them at all. I think I just move on like quickly.
Well, now you're making my point. You have to make an effort, but you don't even make the effort. You
Yeah, I
skip
mean, it's just
over
not
one.
something that I think about. I'll just try to move on as fast as possible just so it just doesn't like, I don't know how to put it. Just so it kind of just doesn't dwell on my mind
Do you
and
tend
ruin my
to
day.
do you
But
tend to avoid feelings about things in general?
not really.
But only when somebody does something that's hurtful?
I don't think I get hurt enough to actually know. So
Well, are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever had either a friend or a girlfriend betray you, betray your trust?
I mean, I have a pretty close group of friends, so I haven't really lost any friends like that much.
Then you're blessed.
Yeah.
Let's not rush it.
Mhm,
Keep that
I'd say
alive as
so.
long as you can.
I'm a little bit picky when it comes to that stuff, so that's why I try to just avoid like getting into situations in the first place like that. I kind of,
Yeah, right. Good.
yeah.
Good. Beautiful. Okay. Who are the other 2 who haven't gone yet?
Srinidhi and Shrinika.
Yeah, can somebody
Yep.
volunteer?
Oh no, we can't hear you.
Can
Oh.
you type in the chat? Is there a chat that they can type in?
Yeah, can you type in the chat, Shrinika? Or Srinidhi, sorry. Let me see what they're saying. Srinika says for step 1 is the easiest and step 4 is the hardest.
Sharing what happened with somebody safe is hard for you. And why is it hard for you to share what happened with somebody safe?
Why is it hard?
Oh, now we can hear you. Yay.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Why is it hard for you to share with somebody safe?
Wait, you did something. We lost you.
Oh, wait.
Okay, now you're good. Keep talking.
We're good? Just talk loud. I think that's it.
Yeah, I can hear you. Why is it hard for you to share with somebody safe?
Because she doesn't have a lot of like friends. Well, doesn't have a lot of trustable people.
So it's not hard for you to share what happened with somebody safe. It's hard to find somebody who's safe.
Come on, just tell me. Or okay. Yeah. And for me, I feel like number 1 is the easiest, number 8 is the hardest.
Oh, actually giving the forgiveness or asking for forgiveness is the hardest?
Yeah, because like if I'm really angry at someone, then it's hard to like actually forgive them. Or if like
Sure.
I made someone like really angry, then I'm like scared to face them, if you know what I mean.
And If you're the one who has to forgive somebody, is it because you want to punish them and you don't want them to be forgiven?
I mean, like, if it's something small, I'll forgive them. It's easy. But like, if it's something big, and it's hard to actually forgive them.
So do you punish them instead? Or what happened?
I just stopped talking to them, I guess.
Yeah, that's a punishment.
Yeah.
Stopping to talk to somebody is a type of punishment. Because if you used to be friends and then you stop communicating, that's punishing them for their behavior, right?
Yeah. So I guess
Then they're not worthy of you speaking to them. Huh?
Do you
Yeah.
think avoiding the situation is a type of punishment? Like if somebody keeps giving you a hard time and you just want to avoid them, or
You asking
avoid
me or you asking her?
in general? I'm just curious about what the team has to say. Because we do learn in school sometimes, right?
You
Like
mean
if
you're just
they,
asking everybody at the same time?
oh, whomever. I mean, I'm just curious to see what people have to say.
What I didn't understand what we learned in school. What do we learn in school?
No, you know how they say some like, for
You're-
example, if you're being bullied or whatever, you're taught to avoid the situation, or you try to ignore that person. So would that be considered, or avoiding the situation, would that be considered a punishment in that sense? Because you don't want to put yourself in that position again.
No, that's not a punishment. But I don't think avoidance in general is a healthy strategy. I think when something really unhealthy, like toxic people or bullying or somebody did something wrong, it's better to confront it than to just say, oh, well, I'm just going to avoid this. I think it's better to deal with it. You notice Baba would bring people together and say out, what happened? What are you feeling? And he would encourage them to speak it out and to get it worked out, not avoid it. Even Baba brought it all up and he'd say, tell him how you feel. And then he'd say, now I want you to forgive. So Baba would kind of be the conductor or, the orchestrator of getting everybody to communicate and share their feelings, share their experience. And then only he would say, now let it go, move on. See? I think it's important to address it, not just ignore it or avoid it. Okay, so we're at the 5 o'clock mark. That means we've been here for an hour. Do we usually take any break, Shilpa, at an hour, or do you just keep going?
No, we move on.
You just keep moving? Okay. I want to change. Did everybody get a chance to answer? Okay. I want to change it to some more. Does anybody have any questions about forgiveness? Because I've been doing these seminars now since 2007. So what is that, 14 years? Something like that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I had something happen with one of my friends, and I was ready to forgive, but my friend was not, and it kept on coming back to me. And I kept on being open to forgiveness, but the other person was not. And I've tried talking to them and I've tried everything, but this person is still unable to feel happy with communicating with me.
So you wanted to forgive somebody who did something wrong in your eyes. But
In a
that
lot of
person,
people's eyes.
right, but that person didn't want to remain in communication with you, even though you wanted to forgive them?
Correct.
Did they say why?
No.
Then why would you want to be in communication or in a friendship with somebody who doesn't want to be in relationship with you?
Because I do have to see them quite regularly. And if
At school or something?
and if I'm on bad terms with them, it feels worse for me seeing that person than if I feel on even grounds.
Right. So here's the thing that I've learned in my 55 years as a human being, and that's that we can't control anybody. I can't control how anybody thinks, how anybody feels, or what they do. The only thing I can control is what I'm thinking, what I'm focusing on, my own attitude, what I put in my mouth, what comes out of my mouth, where my feet take me, what I do with my hands. I can't control anybody. And I've tried, and it doesn't work. Believe me, I've tried. I've got 6 children. It doesn't work. So what can I do? I can set boundaries. I can make ramifications. I can say, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that'll happen. But I cannot control them. So you may want a level of relationship with this person in your life. And if they're not willing to meet you at that place, you might have to jump to just letting them go out of your life. You still see them, but they've now moved into a different part of your life from whatever they were. They might have been really close friend. Now they're an acquaintance or just a person. It happens. It happens. Good question, though, Saras. I love the question. Anybody else have a question? I know at the end we're going to address Tina's question. I just want to give the tweens a chance. Any other questions? Don't be bashful. I've been answering questions about forgiveness for 14 years.
Laurent, you're a tween in that sense, right? 14 years answering questions.
That's right. I'm also a tween.
Anybody else? I have a related question, I think in general. So number 10, right? Like wholeheartedly letting it go. So
Yep.
I understand, Baba talked about forgiveness and then forgetting. However, our human mind is such that it's not always easy to forget. So even if you wholeheartedly forgive someone and you think you've let it go, sometimes that situation might present itself again, or it might not leave your mind completely. Any thoughts or advice from you on that?
Yeah, I do. So I think the word forget is misunderstood, first of all. I don't think it means literally forget that it happened. I think what it means is, of course, you're going to remember that it happened because it hurt you. It means that that thing that hurt you isn't constantly pressing in on your daily life and on your daily awareness, that you've forgotten it enough that unless somebody asks you about it, it's not like you're dwelling on it. Somebody used the word dwelling on it, and I love that. It doesn't mean forget like you forget that it ever happened. It means don't dwell on it. That's what I think it means. Right?
Also, what if you're in a situation where, like Saras was sharing earlier, where you have let it go, but you are in, you have to be, you're in those circles where you're meeting this person or people, right? And as much as you've let it go, there is somewhat of a scar that remains, right? So you might be on eggshells. Saras, I mean, I can identify with you on some of these matters. So, I'm not speaking for you, but kind of around, that general. What then, right? Because you're like, oh, if I like, then you might be in a position where like, oh, is this person now going to get mad if something else happens? And how do you? You're willing to forgive, but then how do you manage that situation?
So this falls in the category for me of being human. So you have options, right? You could say to the person, hey, I know we used to be closer. I know we used to be friends. I know that we went through that problem and now it's different. But, if you have a need, Shilpa, right? You can still express the need. You can say, I just need you to know. If you ever want to return to a closer friendship, I'm ready to do that. Or you could say, I just need you to know. I've moved on. I've forgiven you, and I can understand if you're not ready to be back the way we were. I just want you to know that if you ever want to talk, I'm here for you. It's just being human, right? So like we talked about before, if you can't control the person's feelings and thoughts, and I guarantee you cannot, what can you do? You can be human and you can say, I have grief about the fact that our friendship used to be close and now it's not. It's painful to me. That's being human. And if they really don't care, you should ask yourself, why do you care so much? Why are you so invested in their feelings and their thoughts? Maybe it's more your problem than them. What are you so attached to? That's what I would say.
Thank you. I think that's very helpful.
Thank you. Good. Orion, you have a thought?
Yeah, what if, like, you, someone at school bullies you and they call you, names and trip you, and they have a bunch of other friends, who help them. So if you got in a fight, you would probably get knocked out by them. What if then?
That's a terrible situation. That's a terrible situation. Are you in that situation right now?
Yeah, kinda. He tells me bad names all the time.
Did he trip you?
Yeah, one time.
Did you tell mommy?
Yeah.
Okay. Did mommy and you tell the teacher about this person?
I actually felt so when I first started, my mom told my she talked to the principal and
Oh, so everybody's aware.
and the vice principal and my teacher, and then my teacher went to a different class in the school, and I had
Yeah.
a different teacher.
So this is very difficult. Yeah, so everybody's aware. Nobody's not aware. Everybody's aware. Have you told this kid directly that you're not going to allow him to treat you that way?
Yeah, kinda. I told him to stop.
Yeah, telling somebody to stop is good. Tell them that you're not going to allow him to mistreat you is really important. That means standing up for yourself, right? And telling somebody, you can't treat me that way. And if they keep doing it, it needs to get escalated to the people in your life taking care of that, because he shouldn't be treating you that way and he's not allowed to treat you that way. So, mommy, me, the teachers, we can all support you to have this kid and his parents talk to. Most likely what's happening is this kid isn't happy. He's an unhappy kid. So he's not getting the kind of love and attention that he needs, and he's acting out. So somebody has to step in and help. That's what I would say. But I can talk to mommy about it after this call, you and mommy, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Good question though, Orion. I'm sorry you're suffering with this kid. Sounds like a bad situation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not good. Good question though, Orion. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Somebody else? Does anybody else have guidance for Orion? I'm sure you've all been in situations like that. It's tricky, isn't it?
My
I
advice,
definitely tell him to kind of not let it get to him as much because a lot of kids go through the same thing.
Can you say the first part about get to him so much? I didn't hear that.
I said I wouldn't let it get to you so much because there's a lot of other kids in your shoes going through the same thing. So don't like think that you're actually like alone in that, like it'll get better as you get older and as you mature more, like things like that happen way less.
That's
also,
beautiful advice.
yeah,
Thank you,
it's
Soham.
wonderful, Soham. Also try to surround yourself with good friends around you. You need a support team, and even if it's like a kid that sits at the lunch table by himself, like you go sit with him and then you guys help each other out, and just surround yourself with your people all the time, And
I
then
love that. I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Any other questions? Don't be bashful. No?
I have a question for you.
Saras has a question for me.
Is it easier for you to forgive yourself or forgive others?
That's a very tricky question. I think it's easier for me to forgive myself. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's some people in my life that are truly diabolical. And by that, I mean, I haven't told you yet, but there's a part of this, it's in the book, that I call unforgivable. And since you asked the question, I will tell you. There are certain behaviors which I believe I can't forgive. They're just too mean. It's too mean. So even I've been with Baba now since I'm 17 years old. So that's a long time. I'm now 55. Even with all my practice, I can't forgive the person, which means to me, I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough to climb that mountain of forgiving that person. So I have to be honest and say, well, I guess I still have a lot more spiritual work to do to be able to forgive that. And so far in my life, I've been able to forgive everything in myself that I did wrong. And I've asked Baba to forgive me, but I have not been able to forgive everything I've experienced from others. So that's my weakness. And I call certain behaviors unforgivable. And again, if you look in the book, you'll find that part of the book. I'm not saying it's unforgivable for you or unforgivable for Baba or God. It's just I can't forgive it. And I'm sure that you'll find experiences in your life that fall in that category. And again, for me, forgiveness is a gift. It's a gift that's given because in many situations, your friends, your family, the law, other people would say, you have every right to punish that person. But you're giving the gift of forgiveness because you have some love or mercy or compassion. That's what I would say. Okay, Tina, I promised you I would address your question at the end. So
Yes.
I don't want to ignore you. What was your question? What happened?
I had a fight with my son. I have apologized 8 times. He won't forgive me.
Okay, I think in a situation like that where there's been a lot of energy get put into it and you're still stuck, you should get somebody to help mediate between you because the two of you together don't seem to have the tools to do it. And so I will offer you that I could do a free forgiveness session for you both to help mediate that, but something is stuck and it has to get unstuck.
He doesn't want to forgive me. He doesn't want to go to counseling.
That's the stuck part that I'm talking about. You need somebody to help you to get unstuck because the energy is not moving.
I know
So
that.
if you want that kind of help, I'd be happy to help you outside of this seminar.
Thank you
Not
for
in
the
this
offer.
seminar, but outside. Yeah, you're welcome. We can connect outside of this.
What's your contact information?
I'll put it in the chat so everybody can contact me if they have any questions. Okay.
Thank you.
Go to the chat area. Yeah, you're welcome. Does anybody have a copy of the book handy?
I do.
Okay, I want somebody to take a look at the top of page, well, chapter 12. On my PDF, it's page 101 in the book. Is there chapter 12, forgiveness and intimacy?
Yeah, it's gonna let me get it.
Yeah. Can you read the quote from Baba at the top of the chapter? It says, I love you. It starts with, I love you.
Okay. I love you. Do not worry about your weaknesses. Eventually they will go. They will go. Even if they linger, love will one day consume them. Everything disappears in the ocean of love.
That's right. So we all have weaknesses. We all make mistakes. Everybody. And Baba, he says, Baba said, the world brings guilt to the guilty and punishes them. But Baba says, I bring guilt to the guilty and I forgive them. So if everybody has weaknesses, then everybody's really worthy of Baba's love and forgiveness. And so then, can't I be more like Baba? Can't I keep loving people and keep forgiving? I'm trying. So if the whole world was forgiving each other all the time, don't you think there'd be less fighting? I think so. But it's hard. It's hard to forgive. And you know what Mahatma Gandhi said? He said, the weak can never forgive because forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. It takes strength and courage to be forgiven. It's difficult. So keep practicing. I keep practicing. If we keep practicing, eventually we'll get better at it.
I think it's also hard to forgive sometimes because our ego is involved, right? Where
yeah.
you can say, well, we tend to think, how can they do this to me? Because
Sure.
I'm XYZ or, so it's very hard. Or even to go apologize, it gets in the way.
That's why it's considered strength to be forgiving and to ask for forgiveness. That's strength, not weakness.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage and strength to be humble enough to say, I messed up, please forgive me. That takes strength and courage.
So
Isn't it?
one question I have based
Yeah.
on that, right? In the situation where one goes and says, I really, messed up. I know I said things that I shouldn't have or did things, whatever it may be. But the other person says, okay, I don't want to talk about it. Or let's not, maybe because they don't want to go back to that scenario and feel whatever they felt at that moment. Would that still help? Or I mean, I guess in their mind, they're just done. They don't want to talk about it. They want to move on. Would we be able to then take that as, yes, they've forgiven me and I need to move on? Or how does that work? I know it's a very generic question. It's situation based, but.
No. It's okay. It's okay. So you have the right to ask that person. You could say, I hear that, but I need to know, did you forgive me? If you have a need to know. So look, the person can't read your mind. They don't know what you need unless you express it. So if you say to them, look, you're really important to me in my life. I just need to know one thing. Have you forgiven me? And if they say, no, then you have to deal with that. If they say, yes, then you can deal with that. And if they don't respond, you can say, why aren't you responding? Right? So a lot of it's on you, right? Because now you have a need. And it's your job to express that need, whatever it is, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We have 9 more minutes. So let's do this. Go around the whole room. Everybody gets to say briefly any thoughts or feelings before we close. Any thoughts or feelings before we close the seminar, the session? And Saras goes last.
Right. I can start. Manya, why don't you start first? I'll help call out the names.
So what was it again?
What are
Any
your
last thoughts or feelings before we close up?
I don't think I have any.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you. Orion?
I say happy and relaxed. I mean calm.
I'm happy that you came.
Very nice to meet you. All right, Srinika and Srinidhi, what would you like to share?
Thanks for spending your time with us and good
You got to speak up a little more so we can hear you better.
say thank you for like spending time with us and giving us.
Did this help you? Awesome. All right, Laya.
Laya had to step out, but she was here just till about 5 minutes ago. I think what we gathered together collectively, because we were talking on the side, is when I think Jay Shriyanti said it was easy for her, the like number 9 or 10 was easiest for her, like wholeheartedly letting go of something. I think we always say, Johnny, though, let it go, just let it go. And we think we let it go, but then it's going to haunt and creep us out because like later in life, if we don't like address it and confront it right then. So it does take a really big-hearted, courageous person to forgive and let go. And that is a practice that we have to come to every day. So if we practice it in little ways every day, it'll affect us in a big, long way. And I think that comes with a lot of maturity and the older we get. So life's a lifelong learning journey.
It is not older. It is because of that Baba's message that you follow. It is at the younger age also. You have to practice it.
That's right.
So with the practice, repeated. Suppose if you are not able to do it first time, second time, third time. See, forgetting, as he said, forgetting, and it doesn't mean that that you forget everything, that incidents or something. When you get into the situation, don't get that type of feeling again. So if repeatedly, if you get into that acceptance, and that is forgiveness, is that type of acceptance. You are let your ego come down. That okay, I decided not to react for this. I take Baba's name. I guess I want to forget it. Forget means it is not forget the incident. That forget means when the situation comes again, repeatedly, if it comes, repeatedly you just take Baba's name, and then repeatedly, Baba help me. Just let me handle situations as I want to practice your message to practice. Let me keep doing it. So that is it doesn't need, it needs with another age, because even age or because you are all lucky, you are in younger age, blessed to be there and follow Baba's messages. But practicing is very important. It is one session, only one session it will come, 10 sessions, or suppose 10 times, any number of times. In our lifetimes, any number of times it comes. First time, second time, everything is in practice. Like how anything situation comes with the practice perfect. And once if you keep doing it, automatically when the situation comes, your maturity level comes to that extent. You just let it go. That let it go is the best word in anybody's life. And anything, if you don't know, just take less Baba Jani. These two actually, Mandali, they used to practice that these two words are really key to our happy life. Human beings' emotions are very common. Every individual has their own weak and plus and minus points in life. But how Baba helps us how to manage our life to be happy in all situations. This is the just keep following it.
Thank you.
Jai Baba.
Okay, Soham, and we have Meher and Sia. So Soham, would you like to share?
I think it kind of just made me realize that I need to acknowledge issues more like deeply to figure it out better, and then let them go for good after that, because I think the way that it works for me is that it's kind of gone in the short term and then it'll come back sometime later. And I think I need to apply more of the steps to my life to make sure I don't have to rethink something again. And taking that time in the beginning might just help get rid of the kind of like not confusion. I don't know what the word is, but to kind of make sure the issue doesn't come up again later.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Soham, it, like we were hearing from Jaya, it takes practice, right? So
Yeah.
I put my contact information in there, my email address and my phone number. If you ever want to email me or text me if you're having trouble with this stuff, I'd be happy to help you practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Should I start speaking?
Sure, go ahead, Meher.
Okay, so I feel like this session was like really helpful and important because really went deep into the deeper meaning of forgiveness, which is sometimes hard for us to understand, but like if we really want to know how to like forgive others or how to forgive, I feel like this session is really helpful.
Thank you. Okay, we have Sia. Sia, are you able to share something?
Yeah. Thank you for the lesson. It was very nice. I think I realized some things that I've never realized, and thank you, Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, thank you for listening.
All right, Saras, last but not least.
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity that Laurent has opened me up to, and I'm just happy that I could help or be around or something.
Very helpful. Thank you. And I want to end with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody knows Martin Luther King Jr. He helped with the civil rights movement to get equality and honor and respect for African American people. He paid the price of his work by being assassinated. And so while he was alive, he had endured tremendous amounts of bullying and abuse. And he said, forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. And he lived in that constant attitude. So even he had to practice. Jay Baba, thank you.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Laurent. Anybody else? I know I only asked the tweens to share. Any last thoughts from the adults, Shailaja and Vanessa?
Thank you, Lauren. It was really a wonderful session, the forgiveness. Yeah, it was really helpful. Thank you. Jai Baba.
Thank you for coming. Vanessa?
Yeah, I was just very grateful for all your shares. It just brought me back to all the different phases I've had with forgiveness. You know, when I was a kid, I just thought, oh, it's so easy to forgive. And then as I've gotten older, I've seen that I have more needs to, you know, connect with a person and really explain like, hey, this really hurt me. And having that courage to say that has been, you know, a journey for me. But hearing all of your, you know, ways of handling forgiveness and all your awarenesses has been inspiring. But yes, it's a journey, and you know, I definitely still on that journey. But thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tina,
Thanks
would you
for
like
coming.
to sing before we say goodbye because it is 5:30?
No, I don't have anything more to add.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Laurent, it's been wonderful connecting with you. I'm so glad I, picked up that book and started reading and then, found you somehow on the internet. But I think, honestly, it's been such a great, connection. I think this is one of the most important topics I feel like in our lives. I'm not saying everything else is not important, but, this is something we have to live with. And also we've been going to like the discourses, and I realize, in the discourses when Baba talks about, in your afterlife, once you pass away and all the things that you see, right? And I realize more and more that, if you don't want to experience the health state, when you're really watching your life through and feeling all those pain again, it's more important to forgive in this life. So your afterlife, so to speak, is a lot less painful. But I could be wrong. That's just my perspective. But it really made me think about how important forgiveness is and really start applying. So thank you.
I do have one more
Awesome.
message, which relates to what you just said, which is that there was a gentleman who survived the Rwandan genocide, and he was searching how to forgive his own best friend who ended up killing his family. And he made a spiritual pilgrimage up a mountain and met with an angel. And the angel said, that which you do not forgive, you become.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. All right. Well, thanks everyone for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. And hopefully I think this is the last one before we come back in fall. So Jai Baba, and for those of you who are in school, have a wonderful summer.
Thank you.
Hey, Baba. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks you.
Bye,
Thank you,
Baba.
Lauren.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Shilpa. Jai Baba.